when you settle into sitting, there can come a sense of gladness. And it's a special kind because it's arisen without you doing anything. It's not because the show is good, or the music is good, or the food is good, or the company is good, or even because the day is beautiful. That gladness can arise if you're sitting outdoors in the forest or inside in your room late at night. Lights are off. Everybody's asleep or the house is empty. And you're sitting still and upright. And it's possible to feel a sense of gladness while you're sitting there. And that gladness, when it comes, is more special, more precious than other forms. More valued, because when it comes, wonder also arises with it. That good sense of wonder and surprise. It's a surprise. Every time it happens, even if you get used to it happening, it's a surprise. Because it's something, it's like a bird that comes to the nest that you've made by sitting. So you know how to make the nest, and here's the nest, but you don't know when the bird is going to settle down in there. The living being. And so the gladness settles in, and you have wonder and you have hope arise, because here you are, not needing anything, not doing anything, and gladness has come to you, has settled in with you, and it stays. It has some staying power. It's not permanent, of course, but it has some staying power. And you kind of have to use your deciding brain to tell yourself to stay here. Even when gladness is there, we still have to be on guard against the things that can take our gladness away. Because when gladness is there, and because we've built a solid nest for it, we have to keep minding the nest. Our job is to take care of that nest. And we have this funny thing that we do, that even when the bird is there, even when gladness is there, even when we've set out with an intention to build that nest and keep it, something might come up that tempts us away from that. An idea of another task is sometimes one of those temptations. Maybe an idea that you should go to bed. It's late. Or a feeling that you've been doing this long enough. And it's just time to do something else, even if you don't know what else there is to do. And I might call that feeling restlessness. restlessness is one of what are called hindrances in Buddhism. They're actually hindrances to the meditative state. Restlessness, doubt, laziness, or laziness is so pejorative. The idea is that is a sort of a reluctance polite way to say lazy is it's a reluctance to generate exertion and exertive energy in yourself. So how would that prevent you from sitting upright? Well, you just want to lay on your back and watch a show. The idea of turning the show off, turning out the lights, sitting up straight, setting a timer. I mean, that's an activity that you have to generate some energy to get yourself up to do. You can see how those ideas might bounce up against your reluctance. All the words that are used for that are kind of a negative connotation that maybe don't seem so fair to the soft part of ourselves that does work a lot, does do a lot, and does deserve some time just to veg out. So that's why I wouldn't say them, I wouldn't use them. But they're words like sloth, torpor, laziness, more than just tiredness. So the hindrances are restlessness. That's the task mind that doesn't think you're allowed to sit there and not complete a task. But notice how it's funny that mind doesn't bother you if you're watching a show. But all of a sudden you're too busy to sit still. It's too late. It's too late in the night to meditate, even though you just spent an hour and a half watching the television. Now it's too late. Doubt assails meditation and assails the nest that we build and hold. Doubt in the efficacy. You doubt the whole thing. You doubt that meditation is worth anything. It's worth more than anything else. And we doubt that it's worth anything. Meditation and that gladness that comes, it has this beautiful quality that you can forget it. You can't remember it. You can't really enjoy it by remembering it. It's not like a sensory experience that you can kind of re-savor a little bit in your memory. Even experienced meditators go a few days without meditation and you can kind of come into this idea of like, oh, what's that all about? So we're not always led to meditation by a sense of knowing that it's going to give us the goods. And so that's why with meditation, it's really, really good to have a no matter what practice. No matter what, this is when I sit. No matter what, this is how long I sit. If you make it easy to attain, that's good. Make it easy. Find that time in the day when it's right. Yeah, you've got 10 minutes. You've got 10 quiet minutes in a quiet room by yourself. You won't be bothered. 10 minutes in your car. So there's restlessness, doubt, reluctance to generate energy, hankering, desire, craving. I mean, that's an obvious one. You're sitting still and it feels like your desire is about to pull you out of your body. It's a war. It's a war against the thing you want. That's kind of an easy one. Might be the one that we all think of. You know, you're sitting still against a host of desires. And desire can be, you know, these things are proposed in Buddhism as enemies. Sometimes it takes those, even though they're just our soft self, but I think sometimes for the writers of these things 2,500 years ago, kind of the competitive metaphors were strong, and for some people today, those still work too. That you can think of, if you think of desire as an enemy, or doubt, or restlessness, or reluctance. They're enemies that are trying to destroy your nest. You know, one thing that I think as modern people that we look at and we don't like about that is that it might make us generate ill will toward what we see as ourselves. And that's really true. We don't want to do that. But what's good about thinking of it in terms of a battle is that you aren't identifying with these things. And so it's, especially with desire, this is really obvious. It may be true of all the others, but especially with desire so can feel like yourself. I want this. I want this. It's so close. So close to everything that's important to us. Even just the feeling of desire itself is, we cherish it. We miss desire when we don't have it. So often, of course, a lot of us have realized this, that it's desire itself that we desire. Of course, it's not the completion of it, and it's gone, and you've lost your purpose. Desire gives us a purpose, gives us a goal. And so I think that's actually a really interesting place to contemplate, that it's desire itself we want. So what is it? It might be the thing that gets us most in touch with our most cherished feelings. It might actually be the thing that becomes gladness when we've stopped going out towards objects of desire. So that would make it a very devious enemy. It's using the very thing that we love and have to make us want for something we don't have. And so then I think what's the fifth hindrance? doubt, restlessness, sloth, craving, and ill will. Ill will makes it impossible to build a healthy nest. Again, I think our essence that comes to settle in the nest is sent out by ill will. It's sent out in this form, this feeling of anger or obsession or judgment. Somebody's always getting in our way. So the way to counter that in meditation is, if you're caught in ill will loops, you can say to that person in your mind the thing that the Buddha always said to people as a farewell. May you have a long, healthy, happy life. You can say that to that person that you're having ill will towards in your mind, in your meditation, over and over again. Rest assured that that is meditation. You can do that as long as you have energy for it, as long as it feels like it's helping and like it's working. That's not a waste of time. Really, the nest that gladness lands in is our commitment to the sitting still practice. It's valuing it, ultimately. Maybe you don't value it above all else. But you can value it above all else for a time, for 10 minutes, for an hour, for 2 hours. You can pretend for that time that meditation is the thing. It is the one way. And that not a single second that you spend in it is wasted. And that's compared to all our other worldly endeavors. Everything that we try to do, we know that with our best intentions, with our best efforts, it could have been the wrong thing. When the results of our actions ripen and we see what we've wrought, it's so often not what we intended, not what we wanted. So for a time, hold this practice of holding the nest as the most important thing you can do. And then the sincerity to have a flip side to these 5 enemies, and to step out now of that tool of guarding against. And you could say it's a negatively oriented tool. And just because it's negative doesn't mean it's bad, but it's a negatively oriented tool. It's guarding against. The flip side to that is once those things are seen and guarded against, all of the sudden you're standing in sincerity. You're bringing sincerity to your practice, to meditation. You're not bringing doubt to it. You're not bringing, can't wait till this is over so I can get to the other thing to it. you're enjoying the effort that you're making. You're seeing the objects of your desires as ephemeral. You're leaving the world and its people and its animals and creatures and all beings alone out of your empathy. And so you're sincere. And I would say then at that point, it's hard to tell the difference between the nest, the bird, and your sincerity. That with all those things gathered together, you've created a sincere form. And it's the sincere form that can bring that satisfaction and gladness that in essence can light up a dark room at midnight.